substance abuse. My name is Yetunde Jayola, your anchor for this weekly journey of mental health awareness. I will be back after the break. What begins as an innocent attempt to feel good or ease stress often spirals into emotional instability, dependency, and long-term mental health challenges. The use of drugs amongst a broad spectrum of Nigerians has become a major concern, revealing deeper issues of stress, social pressure, and inadequate mental health awareness. On this maiden edition of In the Shadows, our first segment, which is 30 Cents, provides a grim insight into the current reality of substance abuse challenge in the country.
Was documented by national surveys, and it makes Nigeria one of the highest drug abusing nations in Africa too. A teenager grows withdrawn, grades begin to fall, money goes missing, conversations become tense. These are not just faces, they are early indicators of a growing national crisis: drug abuse. Cannabis, the most commonly used substance, is said to be used by more than 10 million Nigerians. While many consider it recreational, health experts warn that frequent use can impair memory, reduce concentration, and increase the risk of anxiety disorders and psychosis, particularly among young users. Amongst others, cannabis is only part of the picture. In recent years, the abuse of codeine-based cough syrups became prevalent. A medication intended for treatment became a substance of dependence. Although restrictions were introduced following the investigation and regulatory reforms, misuse of pharmaceutical drugs continues. Today, tramadol is among the most abused prescription opioids in the country. In some communities, it is falsely promoted as a performance enhancer, a misconception that carries serious health consequences. Medical professionals say it can lead to seizures, respiratory distress, addiction, and even death when consumed in high doses. Law enforcement agencies also report the presence of cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine. Nigeria's geographic location makes it a strategic transit point in international drug trafficking networks. While many shipments are intercepted, some inevitably reach local markets. This crisis is not solely a law enforcement issue, it is a public health challenge. The data is clear. The trend is concerning. Broken families and strained institutions continues to rise, because behind every statistic is a life, and behind every life, a future at stake.
Welcome back. Substance abuse is very dangerous. That rejecting illicit drugs is an act of respect and a commitment to purposeful living. You're welcome back to the program. Insight from the first segment had indeed provided a clear situation. Conversation for today is on cannabis sativa, India hemp, marijuana, or whatever name it is called in your local environment. It is the most widely abused drug in Nigeria, with the country considered as one of the largest cannabis producing countries in Africa. According to reports from the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, cannabis remains the most widely used illicit drug globally, with an estimated 210 million people worldwide using it in the past year. For the National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, cannabis represents 75% of all psychoactive substances seized by the agency in the last 5 years. With the agency routinely destroying hundreds of acres of land, cannabis farms annually. The cultivation of cannabis is quite prevalent in Edo, Ondo, Delta, Oyo, and Ekiti states, amongst others. The realization that crime fighting alone will not solve the problem of the threat that marijuana represents to our population has led to a paradigm shift in dealing with the menace. Our next report on this maiden edition of the program gives an insight into the new thinking in the NDLEA. Stay tuned.
Cannabis, a major psychoactive substance, has been abused across the length and breadth of Nigeria, with its attendant effects being felt by the nation. The bleak and troubling reality of this worrisome trend is clearly visible in the number of people abusing the substance. Available statistics revealed that more than 10 million acres of farmlands are being deployed for its cultivation annually across several states of the Federation. For the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA), the grim situation has been further accentuated by the fact that cannabis alone represents over 75% of all psychoactive substance seized in the last 5 years, hence the need for a paradigm shift in addressing the cannabis conundrum. It is in furtherance of this new thinking that the Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa leadership of the NDLEA led his team to Ondo State for a week-long advocacy visit and official flag-off of the Alternative Development Initiative. The first port of call for the Chairman Chief Executive Officer of the NDLEA, Brigadier General Marwa, and his team was the seat of government in Akure, where they were warmly received by the Executive Governor of Ondo State, His Excellency Lucky Ayedatiwa.
We are not talking only of switching crops. We have to go beyond that to actually develop the communities, to give them sustainable livelihoods.
I want to assure you, Your Excellency, that we will, as government, support you in every way that we can.
The team also visited the paramount ruler of Akure Kingdom, His Royal Majesty Oba Dr. Aladetoyibo Oguntade Adelusi Odudu II.
Whatever way that we want Akure people or me to work with you, whatever way, we will do it because I love this town so much.
Strategic meetings were held with the leadership of religious leaders in the state, led by the Chief Imam of Ondo State and the Chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Ondo State Chapter, respectively. The engagement with the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, Ondo State Chapter, added a moral and spiritual dimension to the project. Islamic scholars reaffirmed Islam's clear stance against intoxicants and pledged their cooperation in sensitizing Muslim communities. A mega town hall meeting that afforded the leadership of the NDLEA to unveil the new thinking was held in Akure, the state capital. The town hall meeting with partners, stakeholders, and pilot communities had in attendance the executive governor of Ondo State.
We are here to build a robust community network that will support the alternative development project of the NDLEA.
The heart of the Alternative Development Project unfolded in the communities of Iluabo, Ifon, and Eleyowo. At Iluabo, the symbolic planting by General Marwa and the King, His Majesty Oba Olufalaye, marked more than the start of farming. It marked the planting of trust. In Ifon community, hope was reinforced with tangible support, including an initial 20 million naira funding commitment. Representatives of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security assured farmers of technical support and access to interventions, signaling that the farmers would not walk this new path alone. At Eleyowo, another 15 million naira was announced to kickstart lawful agricultural activities. The team also visited the International Institute for Tropical Agriculture IITA, which is also integrated into the Alternative Development Plan with a view to providing the beneficiaries with necessary expertise to navigate the new alternative. The story of Alternative Development Project ADP in Ondo State is not merely one of policy or agriculture. It is a deeply human story of listening, empathy, courage, and the deliberate choice to replace fear with hope. Hence the need for all hands to be on deck to ensure the success of this well thought out initiative by the NDLEA.
All hands should be on deck in supporting the NDLEA in this initiative. Now, joining us to further enlighten us on the NDLEA new approach to eradicating the threat of cannabis sativa is the agency's Director of Media and Advocacy, Mr. Femi Babafemi. You're welcome on the program.
Thank you. It's my pleasure being here with you.
So let's get right into it. Can you tell us what is responsible for the change in approach to cultivating cannabis sativa?
Okay, now you would have seen that was an excellent prelude to this conversation. We must appreciate NTA for that excellent. We've had a robust and very strengthened enforcement of the law. That is talking about drug supply reduction. That is where we go after the culprits, the suspects, and the exhibits, these illicit substances, wherever they are located, whether at the borders, seaports, airports, land borders, and deep in the communities and in the forest where these things are grown and produced. And just about 2 years ago, they began this new thinking in the agency that, okay, in the last 5 years of the leadership of the Maro administration in NDLA, we've had almost 78,000 arrests. 78,000 arrests with seizures of about 15 million kilograms of assorted illicit substances. And rightly, like your initial report put it, that's 15 million kilograms, precisely just a little over 14.8 million kilograms. About 75% of that actually is cannabis. And then we see that when you go back again to the statistics, that's the National Drug Survey report that you refer to in your initial report, which puts the population of Nigerians abusing or that had abused illicit substances the past year, especially those aged between 15 and 64, you will discover that that figure was 14.3 million Nigerians, and those that abuse cannabis alone makes up 10.6 million. That's huge.
That's huge.
Again, meaning that cannabis is the most commonly, like it's also you also reported, is the most commonly and most accessible substance in Nigeria today, globally, and then in Nigeria today. So the new thinking is, okay, we've been arresting, we've been prosecuting, sending these people to jail, seizing all of these things, and then, okay, let's take a look at the possibility of extending the olive branch to these people, that is those cultivating, because largely majority of these things are produced locally here. Find that we have some of them coming in from outside of the country, especially the synthetic ones. And even now, of recent, we also discovered that even Nigerians are already producing the synthetic cannabis. And then General Mara decided that, okay, let's establish an alternative development unit in the agency that would coordinate the activities of the agency in that line. That is trying to, yeah, we do understand that the people who are into the cultivation of cannabis, they are doing it for economic benefits.
Yes.
They are doing it because they probably have no other alternatives, or they can't think of any other alternatives, or they don't have, they don't know how to go about it. And so we decided, okay, now we can work with them. Rather than cultivating something that is illegal, that is illicit, that can send you to jail. And in our interaction, we've been over this in the last 1 year, engaging with them behind the scenes, I mean, behind the cameras, without the cameras, understanding them, and in fact, this is not something left for the field officers alone. The chairman of the agency has been on top of it, meeting with these people directly himself. And so we then decided that, okay, let's provide alternatives. Rather than cultivating cannabis, you don't know when next NDLA will knock on your door.
Yeah.
Let's give you alternatives. Let's empower you so that you can cultivate something licit, legitimate, and we can organize, work with partners locally and internationally to organize markets for you. And I'm sure you also saw our engagement with the IITA in Ibadan there. Those are part of the processes to ensure that we have a very solid process, a very solid system in place for these people. So as many that are switching over to legitimate crops, cash crops and food crops, we'll be able to work with them, support them, and even while we're in Ondo State for the pilot scheme, the chairman was able to mobilize some seed funds to encourage them, and apart from seed funds, even trailer load of fertilizer to encourage them to begin to switch. And we're hoping by the grace of God, and I'll tell you that this has not only elicited excitement in Nigeria alone, it has elicited a lot of interest globally, because right at the launch of the program in Akure, Ondo State, we had about 15 countries joining us virtually, globally, in Europe, Asia, and America. So meaning that because Nigeria is the first to start this kind of initiative in Africa, and so they are very interested and they're ready to support us. So that's the whole essence of going ahead with this kind of program, with this kind of initiative. It's all about empowering our communities, the local people, to be able to do things that are legitimate, that will benefit them, rather than benefiting some drug barons who are not even living in their communities.
For the farmers who have been supported by planting these other trees, how do you supervise or get feedback from them to know how the crops are growing? Absolutely.
We are not just doing this alone. We're doing it. We're making it community owned. You know, we are making it their project, their own initiative. Their buy-in is very necessary. You know, if you own something, you protect it. Yes. Because you want it to last, to endure, because you know the benefits come to you. The NDLA is not benefiting anything from it other than reducing the pressure on law enforcement and the justice system. Do you understand? And generally, the society, the country as a whole benefits a lot from it, because quite a lot of multiplier effects as a result of this initiative, either in the area of national development, security, national security, public health, and all of those. So definitely we're working with them to put systems in place. In fact, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security was with us all along, and one of the things they are also involved in that process is to get these people organized into cooperative clauses, where so that things that are coming, support that are coming from different stakeholders and partners can be well channeled, well managed, and well followed. So don't forget that we have commands in all of those places, and that's why we're able to follow them to the forest where we're enforcing the law. And this does not stop us from still enforcing the law. Do you understand? It's only, we're only working with those that are willing to switch, so that they can have peace. And we do expect that when others see what these other people, the rest of mind they have, and the kind of support they are getting, then that would also encourage them to switch. So that's the way it works. But definitely there are mechanisms in place to follow, to monitor, they are well organized. In fact, after the launch of the pilot scheme in Ondo State, we left quite a number of our officers behind there to put all of these structures in place. They were there for another maybe 1 or 2 weeks to follow up and put all of the structures in place.
So we also like to know, how receptive are the host communities for the pilot of this initiative?
Absolutely. I'll tell you that. That's why I said that apart from the excitement that this has generated, if you listen to some of the reactions of the host communities, in fact, starting from the state governor was very awesome in the reception, right from day one that we touched ground in Akure. He organized a reception, meaning that it's something. In fact, most of their reactions is all about, we've been expecting things like this, starting from the governor to his cabinet, members of cabinet, to the traditional rulers, religious leaders, that's Islamic and Christian and Association of Nigeria, down to the communities themselves. All of them were very excited, and they assured us of their cooperation and sincerity in all of this. They were very receptive, very happy about it. We do hope that after this pilot scheme, we're able to extend this across the country, because this is absolutely in the best interest of our country, Nigeria.
This is a good initiative by the NDLEA, but let's go on a short break. We'll continue our conversation after the break.
Thank you.
I was the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking 8 ampoules of pentazosine daily.
European shisha, cocaine.
I became a user, a dealer, and a gangster.
I saw other users drowning. I knew I didn't want to be like them, but I was already trapped.
My family disowned me.
My employment was terminated.
I sold my car, sold my house. I'll go out well-dressed and return shoeless, shirtless in exchange for drugs.
I was seeing things that were not real, and I once stabbed myself because I felt something crawling under my skin.
I contacted NDLEA and started therapy.
I spent 3 months in therapy.
I spent 8 months.
It's easy to relapse, but your mind has to be stronger than the cravings.
Drugs does not love you. You are not the one using drugs. Drugs are the one using you. Say no to drug abuse.
You're welcome back. We would also like to know, what are the core components of this initiative?
Well, when you talk of core components, basically, we're talking about first, getting the people to understand what this is all about. That is sensitizing them, all of which, like I said, we've been doing over the past year. That's the engagement. And then now we are encouraging them to switch. These are people that have been planting, cultivating, and producing cannabis over the years. Switch, agree to switch, and then we provide you support to give you something, what we call sustainable livelihoods, not what you would do, cultivate, plant cannabis, water it, grow it over months, and then when you harvest it, there you have NDLEA at your door or in your farm, arresting you and destroying the whole of those things. You know, some of these, all of these have affected them as individuals. Some of them have gone, into jail. Their kids cannot go to school. So all of this would be out of it, would be out of the equation. And then, like I said, when they switch, we provide them support. Like even the state governor that's in Ondo State, the state governor offered to clear the land for them, offer them lands, clear the lands, and provide them seedlings. These are all part of the components of this initiative, providing support to them. And then, again, like I mentioned before, we're also aware that some of these people may not have been used to the kind of things we're introducing to them, like encouraging them to plant cassava, to plant. For instance, in Ondo State, the governor did say in our engagement with the governor that the state probably accounts for about 40% of tomato, as in beautiful tomatoes, being consumed in Lagos. And we saw them. That's awesome. So now getting people to switch to all of these things that will give them peace of mind, that will fetch them money. And then, so when they do that, we also, part of the component is also to assist them to have ready markets for them. All of those were engaging, part of our engagement with the IITA, so that they have systems in place to create platforms for off-takers for some of these things. And so we look for, look for the kind of crops that there are available markets for, introduce those crops to them and encourage them, teach them how to grow them, and support them in that line. So those are components of the AD project.
So providing a market for these farmers will go a long way in assisting them in switching from farming cannabis to proper farming, as in foodstuff for Nigerians. Yeah. So what are the roles of other stakeholders and development partners in this project?
Very well, thank you. First, we must also mention that what the alternative project is, it's absolutely in line with the renewed hope agenda of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, because there is food security in that agenda, and what we're doing is to take people away from cultivating illicit cropping and then producing food that will not only serve the immediate community but serve Nigeria, and even can even be exported to other countries, so that can fetch our nation substantive revenue. Now, talking about talking about addressing the issue you raised, first you have to, we have, apart from local stakeholders, like I said, we're working with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. We're working with the state government. Now we have the pilot scheme in Ondo State. The state government is very much into it, and they're looking forward to providing all the necessary support, and indeed they show so much interest, so much support to our team when we were there for a whole week for the pilot scheme, to launch the pilot scheme. And we also have 8 non-governmental organizations, community-based organizations on board, all of this. And in addition to that, we have our international partners, especially the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC. They've been very much with us on this. Like I mentioned also, we have quite a lot of partners from Asia, from Malaysia, Thailand, and then we have also from Europe. We have definitely from, again, international non-governmental organizations. Some of these institutions are also involved in this, and I also mentioned IITA in Ibadan. You know how relevant IITA is to this, so all of those institutions are very much involved in this.
So I would like to know, when are we seeing or spreading this initiative to other states aside from Edo, Oyo, Ekiti that was mentioned in the report? Yeah,
don't forget, this is a huge thing. It's a huge initiative. Like I said, it's been, the NDLA has been commended by the UNODC and other global institutions for piloting this, for initiating this as the first in Africa. And so it's something that we need to get the buy-in of everybody. And like the Chairman General Mawa did say at that venue, this is just a pilot project, and when we see how it unravels in Ondo State, then we decide to extend it to some other states. It's like you are in our minds. You're already mentioning some states where that's Edo and others. So we expand like that. And then don't forget that cannabis is not just something limited to Southwest or South-South states. Now it's grown virtually in every state of Nigeria now, virtually in every state. So we do hope that we'll be able to cover the whole country in the coming months, in the coming years, by the grace of God.
Thank you for enlightening us more on this initiative. We know it is Ramadan and Lenten season. What is your advice, or what will you tell Nigerians? Yes,
this is actually a season where this is, for us, is a season where we are remorseful as a people because we are a religious people, and it's a season that we withdraw to be able to seek the face of Almighty God and do things right. But then doing things right includes abstaining from illicit substances or encouraging criminal activities. So we do hope, and we appeal to Nigerians, this should not be limited to this season. We should be able to extend it beyond this season so that the peace, the kind of tranquility, the kind of atmosphere we have during this season will go into the year, to the rest of the year, so that gradually we can see that people who have been lusting or thirsting for illicit substances will then remember that, okay, we make commitment to God during fasting that we will not do this. So, and then that's exactly what we hope to see.
Thank you so much, sir. A break beckons. We'll see you after the break.
Thank you.
Welcome back. On our Narco Tales segment this week, we will bring you the real-life experiences of Joy, a young lady whose simple acceptance of a seemingly harmless help to help us sing better became an introduction to substance abuse. Here is my co-anchor, Netawe Dozie, in an interaction with Joy.
Welcome to Narco Tales, the show where we uncover the raw and real stories of those who have battled substance dependence and found their paths to redemption. I am your host, Netawe Dozie. Hello and welcome to Narco Tales.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself to our viewers.
My name is Joy. I was brought up in a Christian home.
Okay.
My dad was an elder in church. My mom, she held a key position in women's choir. So, being a churchy girl, you know, I had to fix myself in one of the departments in the church. I love music, so I had to join music.
Okay. So can you take us back to the first moment when you came in contact with substances and what happened thereafter? A very deep breath.
Pastor asked me to sing, to lead praise and worship. It wasn't an easy one for me because I've not done that before. I always sing from behind, like backup singers. So I don't.
Front.
No, I don't do that because I have a stage fright. Yes. So it just came out from nowhere and said, "Joy, you're leading praise and worship today." Oh my God. So I started having this panic attack. I was so scared. I don't even know what to sing. I cannot even compose myself. So one of the member there, a friend of mine, he called me and said, "How far? What did you do?" I said, "Nothing. I did shake." I said, "Why did you shake, big girl like you?" Stuff like that. So I said, and that he knows what I'm going through, that he has gone through that before. It wasn't easy for him too, but with time he got used to it. That he wants to give me something. I said, "What's that?" He said, "It's a tablet that it helps to calm nerves, and it will give you this confidence that you don't have." So I said, what kind of drugs is that? Did they sell it at the pharmacy? He said, yes, that he got it from there. And I said, what's the name? He said, Tramadol.
Okay.
Yes. So he brought some out and he gave me 2 pills to take. I just asked him, hope there's no side effect. He said, no, that it will just, I'll feel joy, like I'll be so happy singing. I said, okay, no problem. I tried it. After some minutes, I started feeling unease. Like I was so hyperactive. I just want to, like, let me go to the stage
and start singing.
Start singing. Like I don't know what I will be singing, but I just want to sing. I want to express myself. Like that confidence came from where I don't know. If I want to go out, if I want to talk to somebody, I'll start thinking of what to say. I just go take some since they sell it in the pharmacy. So it was easy to get.
So it was easy to get this from pharmacists?
Yes.
Without prescription?
Like, no. Like, no, there's this person. I don't go in person though.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't go in person. So I would call my friend because, you know, we that take substance, we know where to get it. We have our friends that will help us to get it. So when it's about finishing, I'll just call my friend, help me to get it. I don't know how, but he says getting it from a pharmacy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about the effects on your personal life.
The effect was terrible. Well, my first year in school, I gained admission to the university. My first year in school, the whole thing got worse. You get. So I graduated from Tramadol to Refinol. Started taking Refinol. Like I said, I graduated. Like I was going. Yeah. Yes. So when I'm going to the lecture hall, I'll take some so I can, you know, feel comfortable in class. So I had a crush on one of my classmates like that, and he was not seeing all the green lights. I got angry, went to my room, took some Refinol, came out, went to him. Like I got that boldness to go and approach a man for the first time. Come on, guy, you didn't see all the green lights. Girl, this guy said I'm not his type. I was so pained. Then I increased the intake of it.
The number of pills?
The number of pills.
Okay.
And I increased the number of pills, and it became part of me that if I don't take it, I won't be fine. I won't be normal. So I went to my room because I was disappointed. I was sad. I was angry at myself. So what I did was to take it with some liquor. Yeah, dry gin. So in my room, my head was just, you know, like it was like the wall is spilling. I don't even know what I was doing, but I just know that I will be fine. I'm okay. I will be fine. So I think, was it around, it was around 2 a.m. or so. Yeah, 2 a.m. I came outside my room naked. I was just putting on this. Just came out of my room naked. I started walking, I started shouting, I want more. What do I want? I want more. I just want more. More of what? So my neighbors came out and they started pouring me. They held me down. Like there's this strength that comes from, you know, within. You become very strong. Very strong. Oh. 10 people cannot hold you down. Like, they tried to calm me. It wasn't that easy. All I wanted was to just run out of the gate. Let them open the gate, let me go out. I want
That
to
must
know.
have been very embarrassing.
I didn't even know what was happening. That was the funny part of it. I didn't know what was happening. I just want to go out and to just shouting, I want to know what's wrong with this girl. Has this girl gone mad? What's wrong? Let's call her parents. Let's do this. I was just there.
Let's get into your recovery journey. What made you decide to seek help?
At a point, my parents, they lost their position in church because of me.
How?
And you know, bad news spread faster.
Okay, that's
yes.
true.
So they got to know that, look at this, the elder in the church and women leader, look at what their child is doing. Like the news was all over. So because of that, they have to bench them. It was so disappointing for my parents. And at the point, I could not help it. I was just like, I was getting worse every day. And at the same time, I was feeling bad for my parents. And that did not make me to stop though. I was still taking till that fateful day when I don't know, I was just itching my body like someone was already going out. So some of my friends, they suggested rehab for me, and I didn't buy the idea, but looking at my situation, looking at my parents, looking at my siblings, and what I still have like 3 years in school, how do I cope? So, not to me, they just said we're going somewhere. That's how they took me to.
So it was forceful rehabilitation?
Yes, it was. They said, "Come, let's go." They brought the car, we enter. They never allowed me to take anything. They just said we are going to chill out. So
that was how you found yourself in your rehab home?
Yes.
Okay, so what advice do you have for people out there struggling with substances?
To start it is very easy, but to stop it is very difficult, because when you get used to it, it's very difficult for you to come out of it. But if you find light at the end of the tunnel, sure, when you make your decision that, okay, this thing, I want to abstain from it, you definitely. And it requires discipline. My friends helped me. There I was, when I was in the rehab, I said, I'm fine, I want to go. And they're just looking at me, this guy is not okay. I stayed there for like 4 months plus. I had to stop talking, because the more I talk, the more they think I'm still going nuts. So I had to stop talking. Then with time, they released me. When I came out, I found Christ. Like, I found Christ again. Like, yes. And I learned to love him this time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's it on today's episode. And remember, recovery is possible.
Episode of In the Shadows. Remain clean and keep the conversation going on our social media handles showing on the screen. Until then, it is bye for now. I remain yours sincerely, Yetunde Jayola.